the positioning of Kenya as the country that's at the forefront of conservation. We want to hear from our panelists, but we also want to hear from you as media. What are your questions? What are your thoughts this afternoon? Before we begin the panel session, I'm going to welcome Honorable Najib Balala to please make a few introductory comments.
Thank you, Julie. I'm pleased to be here, and I want to thank Barrett and Manu. Thank you very much for joining me on this session. What we have witnessed this morning is the commitment of government, the political goodwill that is available in governments in Africa to make conservation a priority. Because conservation goes hand in hand with the economy. And that's why we as the Ministry of Tourism, because tourism in Kenya is wildlife based, and we need to be part and parcel of the conservation process so that we can be able to support our economy. Without tourism, there will be no conservation. So that is the point. If we don't have the clients to come into Kenya, and that's why I'm appealing to everybody that we need to put marketing of the destinations in Africa as a priority so that we can get the tourists or the clients to come and view our products. By extension, that revenue generated goes to the communities, it goes to the reinvestment of fences and anti-poaching programs. It goes back to the government and by taxpayers, again, benefiting from it.
Thank you for that. Let me ask Bwana CS. Kenya has come a long way. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, if you asked somebody on the street a question about what they feel about their wildlife, they might tell you, look, I've got big problems, I'm not interested. But awareness seems to be changing. And now even on the Twitter sphere, on social media, you can see people saying, I care, it matters, I want to be part of this, how can I be part of this? Coming back to community level now, knowing 70% of the wildlife in Kenya is outside our wildlife conservation areas, our natural parks, living within communities. How do we ensure that we continue to engender the feeling that it matters to them, but also make sure that communities are able to live alongside their animals and leverage the economic and social benefits of the wildlife rather than suffer the conflict?
I think the conservation programs or process should be owned by the communities. The communities are going to be the best defenders of wildlife. It will not be government. Government is already overstretched in delivering other promises, political promises probably. Yeah, but ownership of the community should be priority. I appreciate the challenges towards that. Kenya has put its laws very clear in terms of compensation for the communities and how we preserve the wildlife. The second angle is how do we make sure that the community does not subdivide land and start bringing agriculture to areas where wildlife is developed.
Which is happening in some places. In
some places it's happening because there are no alternatives. As President Yoweri Museveni says, can we start bringing new technologies of agriculture? So instead of allowing everybody to buy 5 acres and 10 acres and do some peasant farming, we create large farms with the right technology to do proper farming, and we can be able to preserve the rest for wildlife. So there is coexistence then between wildlife and agriculture. All the competition between wildlife and humans is on agriculture, nothing else. And that's why the demography and the population growth is very critical for us to understand. I understand where President Museveni comes from, is we should go and address the future problem. In Kenya we have a good example. Particularly in Masai Mara, the Maasais have come forward and actually brought in their land into a conservancy and agreed to receive fees, so that they can give their land for wildlife and then seclude some areas for livestock. So that model, I think, is workable, and we can be able to spread it the rest of the country.